Oh, I'm not gonna have fun doing this, aren't I? Greetings everyone and welcome back to 365 Days of Prog. Today we're gonna do a very special episode because this is an episode about an album which I did not really like, and that's kinda special on this list. We are nonetheless going to be reviewing the album Galactic Dossier by the band Kingdom Come.
Hi, my name's Naomi. I'm an avid progressive rock fan, but I'm a long ways from knowing all the prog albums out there. But this year, I'm gonna give it a try. This is 365 Days of Prog.
So I'm just being harsh on this album, I guess, because it's not that bad, and you can see it in a second when I share with you my favorite bits from the album, which there are plenty of actually, so enjoy.
Deep down my soul raises a plea.
So, I said that I don't like this album, but it's not really that. I think this album in some way is not meant to be enjoyed. Now that's a really odd thing and a notion we never really think about. When we go and listen to an album, we're just assuming that the band wants us to enjoy the experience of listening to their music. But for some reason, this album just tries as hard to make it inaccessible and not enjoyable at most parts. Now, I might be saying some gibberish to some of you. Maybe you love this album and you find every single note on it to be, so good it's blasphemy to even say otherwise. But in my honest opinion, I think that this album really tries to deter you from it. And what I mean by that is that this album tries to be inaccessible in as many points as possible. When you do listen to this album, most of the time you're gonna have a dissonance because you don't really like what you're hearing, at least in my opinion. And then when you do like comes up, it does not last long. It feels like the band themselves, they know, oh, we're doing something that sounds good. Oh, we should do something else, just not good. And in some way, I think this album is just really trying to not be enjoyable, and I guess that's a noble task in itself. Another thing, if I had to describe the singing on this album, I just would have to say that it's generously hideous. I don't like the singing on here. The singer, he does some really odd things, like he has some pretty amazing vocals. He can scream in different pitches and notes, and it's like all over the place, but he uses that in a way which is really not pleasant in my opinion. Everyone watching this video, you should know that this is only my opinion, and I know this album is rated as something good by a lot of people. And for a fact, someone recommended this album to this list because they thought that this album was really, really good. So when it comes to the songs on this album, there are a few glimpses of good things which I've showed you in my favorite bits. But all in all, there are at least, I'd say, 3 songs which were fine by me in my opinion. The first one of them was actually Sunrise. Now, Sunrise is an interesting song. It's really, really pleasant. It's actually pretty melodically impressive, I might say, and it is mostly accessible, and it was kind of surprising to hear a song like that amidst all the other songs which were really, really hard on my ears. The next song is one of the shortest ones, and it's called Brains. It's a goofy song, it's really odd, but it just made me giggle for some reason, and it made me laugh, and it wasn't really enjoyable as music, just as like a short skit of some sort, I guess, and I guess it was pretty nice. But if I had to choose a favorite off this album, it would have to be Gypsy Escape. I think it's the second to last song, if I'm not mistaken, on this album, and it's actually pretty good. Now, one of the things that make it a good song is, unfortunately, the fact that no one is singing on it, And for this, it actually makes the band shine a bit with their instruments and their playing. And this mainly is a good and accessible song all the way through. It's not basic, it's not simple, but it's good music and it's fun to listen to, and I've actually found myself listening to it more than once, which means a lot on an album like this. And yes, the rating for this album will be a slightly better because of this song, so you'll see all of that in 1 second after we get to the cover. And oh boy, if I was on a positive mood, this is where we go back. The cover itself, well, if I had to describe it, it's uninspiring. Yeah, I don't find anything interesting about it. It seems like the concept is really simple. You have the band members, as I suppose they are, and they're shown as if they have like their, mug shots, and they have their details written down as if they are under arrest, and that might do something with that being like a zoo, a Galactic zoo dossier, I don't know, but just not interesting. Don't really dig it. I think it doesn't even serve a purpose in explaining what there is to be found in this album, and really just not a good cover. So although I did my calculations and actually got a solid 5 out of 10 for this album, I just didn't really like that score, so I took it down to 4 out of 10. And that's because I don't believe this album is just decent. It's like, okay, not good, not bad. No, this album does fall on my bad side. So it would have gotten a 3 if it were not for songs like Sunrise and Gypsy Escape. So that's a good thing, I suppose. But yeah, this album, it receives the 4 out of 10. And I think it's a generous giving by me in this case. So that's about it, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for tomorrow where we'll be listening to one of the interesting titles we have on this list called Death May Be Your Santa Claus by the band Secondhand. It's gonna be interesting. I know it's kind of similar to today's album, so I shall see it tomorrow, and I'll see you all as well tomorrow. Bye guys.